Bengals look to freeze out the Browns and keep their playoff hopes alive. Mike Petraglia inside Paycor Stadium. Bengals back here on the banks of the Ohio River, trying to continue an unlikely push for the playoffs this season. Yes, they're 6-8, but they've won 2 straight for the second time this year. And here on Sunday afternoon, in 32-degree freezing temperature, and the Bengals will try to make it 3 in a row for the first time in 2024. Bengals are trying to beat the Cleveland Browns and sweep them for the first time in a season series since way back in 2017. Bengals need the win to keep their playoff hopes alive. If they win, they're going to be alive heading into week number 17 next Saturday afternoon against the Denver Broncos. But first things first, as Zach Taylor repeated over and over again this week, you've got to take care of business against the Cleveland Browns. Browns come in 3-11. They're out of it, obviously. They are making another quarterback change. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR, is getting the call today for the Browns in place of Jameis Winston. Winston provided that spark after the Achilles injury to Deshaun Watson, but the last 3 weeks he has not taken care of the football. 8 interceptions and just 6 touchdowns over a 3-game losing streak for the Brownies. So it's Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Now, Robinson came in place of Deshaun Watson when he tore his Achilles against the Bengals back in October, and the results were not good for DTR. He was 11 of 24, 82 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So does that play in the Bengals' favor? You would think so. Also, Bengals come into this game knowing they have got to contain Myles Garrett. He is coming off a dinged-up game where he sustained a couple of injuries in the 21-7 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs last week in Cleveland, but he is expected to play this afternoon along with Denzel Ward, who has always given Joe Burrow trouble. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is not going to play today. He is on the IR with a neck injury. That's a big help for the Bengals offensive line as they try to contain the always powerful and potent Cleveland Browns pass rush. So the Bengals should be able to take care of business today against a Cleveland Browns team that is dinged up on defense and is making a big change at quarterback. Obviously, another injury note for the Cleveland Browns. They are not going to have their lead running back in this game, as Nick Chubb is out for the season with a broken foot. He is not going to play today. Jerome Ford had a 62-yard touchdown run against the Chiefs last week. It was Cleveland's only score. He can get it done. He can break out and hurt the Bengals if the Bengals don't wrap up and pursue the football. Their defense has been better in the last couple of weeks. No mistake and no obviously coincidence that the Bengals have won those last 2 games against the Dallas Cowboys, in which they played very good defense in the second half. And last week, at times, they really were in command of that game. They were able to create the turnovers last week, of course, against Will Levis. Can they do the same thing here this afternoon on their home turf against Dorian Thompson-Robinson? All of that remains to be seen. The Bengals in this game are expected to see Alex Kappa come out of concussion protocol and be able to play at his customary right guard spot, so expect him to play. Also, keep an eye, a very close eye, on Orlando Brown Jr. He was limited on Friday. He's listed as questionable. Could he return to the lineup for just the second time in the last 6 games? If the Bengals get him back at left tackle, that'll be a boon as well. So a little more depth along the offensive line. Last week, of course, the Bengals really were thin in that group, but Bengals should be able to get some holes opened up for Chase Brown, who is starting to really spark the Bengal offense on the ground. We all know about Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase comes into this game just 10 catches shy of matching T.J. Houshmandzadeh's 2007 single-season record for the Bengals with 112 catches in 1 year. Jamar Chase could obviously reach that today with a big game against the Cleveland Browns secondary. We'll see if he gets that opportunity. Of course, Joe Burrow comes into this game leading the NFL in touchdown passes. Can he continue his MVP-worthy season for the Bengals? Again, the Bengals here against the Cleveland Browns, looking for the season sweep for the first time since 2017. The weather, you can see behind me, we're expecting clear skies. It'll be cold, but no precipitation in the forecast. We're expecting temperatures right around the freezing mark of 32 degrees for the 1 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Be sure to follow me on the X at Trags, Trags, CLNS Cincy with a Y.com. And as always, Skinny and I will have your Bengals, Jungle Roar, Skinny, Bengals postgame pod coming up immediately after the game on youtube.com/@Jungle Roar Pod. Inside Paycor Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.